You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off the summer LawnTOURpreneur series and highlight some of the up-and-comers in the lawn and landscaping industry. Brian is interviewing LawnTOURpreneurs across the country, seeing how they're making money. Listen in as they share how they've set themselves up for success in order to grow a profitable business. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Echo, Equip, and Stable, for partnering with us on the tour and for helping bring you these incredible interviews. You can also see behind the scenes of the tour and get a walkthrough of each guest's business and equipment setup on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and we're going to jump right on into it. So I'm actually sitting across from today's first guest for the LawnTOURpreneur series. We got Gabe Polteraitis. How we doing, bud?
Good.
Did I say it correct?
Well. Yeah, you did. You got it this time. Yeah.
This is actually take two, and I butchered it so bad the first time. I was like, "Do you mind if I restart?" You're like, "Sure, buddy."
Yeah.
So good morning to you, man. It's 11 a.m. Beautiful. What is this? Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Friday afternoon, and we're hanging at your grandparents' house.
Yep.
And we just got done shooting your YouTube video, and that was awesome, man. We got to see your equipment set up. See the different lawn care landscaping jobs that you're doing, and just get to see, the growth of you and your company this last couple years that I've known you.
Yeah.
So give these guys the lay of the land really quick. We call it like the highlight reel. So have we done a podcast yet or no?
No.
Okay, so this is your first one.
Yep.
But I have bumped into you, a handful of times already at Weingart's.
Weingart's, GIE,
Ace Hardware.
Yep.
And so that's where I bumped into you.
Yeah.
Tell that story really quick, because that is really funny.
Okay, so I was going to Ace Hardware, looking at the Milwaukee stuff.
Yep.
And I walked by, and my dad was like, "Hey, is that Brian? Is that Brian Fullerton?" and I was like. And I was like, yeah, and I just like book it.
I saw you guys walk in, and you like looked at me, and then you like kept walking, and I was like, dude, that kid does lawn care. Like
because I have my shirt on, I think too.
You have his shirt, and I was like, because Liz and I were there shopping for paint colors for the nursery,
right?
And I was like, because we live like 2 miles from the same place that you do, and I was like, babe, that kid does lawn care, and he looked at me. I'm like, he's gonna come over and say hey, and so 2 minutes later, you're like, hey, are you Brian Fullerton from YouTube? I go, yeah, what's up, bud? You're like, dude, I do lawn care, and it was just a fun conversation.
I was like passed out. I was like all starry, and I was like,
oh, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
It was funny though, because your dad was really cool, and he's like, my son watches all of your videos on YouTube, and it was really cool getting to meet your dad, Remus, and it was just a funny thing. And then I saw you, what was it, like maybe 2 or 3 months later at
it was a few weeks later.
A couple weeks later,
I think. It wasn't that far apart. It was like a few weeks, I think.
That was up at Weingart's, and what were you doing up there that day? Getting some service done? Do you remember?
I don't know. I think I was just window shopping for stuff, looking at next purchases.
You were talking to Brad in the corner for something. Because I ran up to Brad, I go, hey, is that Gabe? And he goes, yeah, Gabe's lawn care. How do you know Gabe? I'm like, I just met Gabe like a couple weeks ago. And long story short, I was talking to Brad. I said, what's he got going on? And he's like, dude, he's kicking butt. And I said, what's his trimmer? Do you know what kind of trimmer he's rocking? He goes, oh, I think he likes the steel stuff. So I ran over to Aaron.
Yeah.
And I said, no, who's your sales guy up at Weingart's?
Tom right now. Tom or Aaron, depending on who's there.
Tom or Aaron. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think I was talking to Aaron. I said, dude, you got to hook up little dude here with, give me like a 91 or 94. What did we end up getting you?
A 94.
94?
Yeah.
Yeah. I told Aaron, I said, hey, give me a 94. And I said, just put it on my account, and I'm go hook him up really quick. And we walked over to you, and I said, hey, you want a new trimmer really quick? And you were like, what?
Yeah.
And we were going to hook you up with a steel FS94.
Yeah, it's the one I have on the trailer right now.
Is it still out there?
Yeah.
How's it been working?
Awesome. I put a blade on it the other day and did a little bit brush hogging with it.
Really?
Yeah. Just a whole like
those saw things?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like a 4-blade saw, and it just
goes around. Okay. Well, good for you, man.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do the highlight reel. Like give me like a minute or two, kind of macro about who you are, where you live in, what your lawn care business looks like, and we're gonna get into it.
Sure. So I'm Gabe. I live in Novi. I mow about 15 lawns a week. I do landscaping, irrigation work.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Some softscaping, as you could call it, like mulch and whatnot.
Yep.
And yeah.
That's cool, man. And then how long have you been cutting grass and doing landscaping?
Probably about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get into everything?
I got in by like seeing people do it, or like watching you on YouTube, and I was like, this is cool and whatnot. And I was like, I want to try it.
Yeah.
So, and I also had a buddy that had lawn care, and I was like, I'm gonna get into it, I was working for him.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, can I work for you for a little bit, help you out? And he's like, sure.
Yeah.
So from there, I basically went on my Next Door app. It's a really good app for marketing.
Okay.
And I went on there, and it was like, anyone need lawn care? And I mean,
Yeah.
I said it more professionally, but
Sure.
yeah. And I got one of my first clients, and I was like, yeah, I got it. And then,
Dude.
no, the funny thing is though, is it took a while.
Okay.
And talking with my parents back on, I was like, what do you think of me from then on? They were like, well, we were kind of worried because like you weren't getting anyone. And
Yeah.
they were like, but then you got some. We were like so relieved and stuff. So
That's funny
yeah.
right there. It's always like, as a parent now with, I got a little one, I can imagine the day where like when somebody's playing baseball or softball or sports or business, and you're hoping they get the first hit at bat or the first
Yeah.
home run or the first customer call. So what was your first job? Was it lawn care or landscaping related?
It was lawn mowing. My first job was lawn mowing.
Okay.
I mean, and then of course, like when I was like 8 or something, I was at my grandparents' house, and you could see me pushing the bar above my head, like. Yeah.
Dude,
So
leaning forward, and you're like not even as tall as the mower.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it was when I was 10 years old, pushing mowing in my trailer park back in the day. And I had like a little 3 horsepower mower. It was so small, so tiny, so underpowered, and wasn't even self-propelled. Was yours self-propelled?
Yeah, it was a personal pace. So basically, I used it. I used his for a little bit to mow his yard when I was a kid. Whatever, time passed.
Back in the day when you were a kid.
Yeah. But then when he got a lawn care company, I was like, I'm trying to do like the lawn care as like a business. Do you think I can like use your mower or whatnot?
Sure.
And he was like, sure. I mean, I don't have a use for it.
Yeah.
So he gave me, and it had like a little rusty hole in it,
Okay.
like a little one.
Yeah.
And then I got lucky. I didn't have a blower at first. I was like, what am I gonna do? And so time went on a little bit. I was still like advertising. I was like, well, when I get a customer, I'll get a blower.
Okay.
But then my uncle had a extra like Ryobi curved shaft trimmer.
Okay.
And it like barely ran, but it ran. I was like, you know what? He was like, you can have it if you want. He was like, I don't know if it works too well, but I was like, okay, I'll use it. I'll try it.
Gas one or battery one?
Gas.
Okay.
It was like a Ryobi gas one. So
okay.
And it was like one of the combi units. So basically, at first I had a curved shaft trimmer.
Yep.
Then I got like a straight shaft trimmer.
Okay.
And then I got an edger when it was finally time for me to like start picking up my quality of work.
Yeah.
When I knew I was like, okay, I need to make sure my yards look good and not just messing around here now.
That's awesome. So how old were you back then? 12, 13?
13 or 14.
So
13.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so like you had a neighbor that was cutting grass, or a friend?
Well, so yeah, I had a friend that was cutting grass. Yeah.
And then you were watching videos on YouTube?
Yeah.
How did you find like lawn care YouTube stuff? Like who do you watch, or who were you watching back in the day?
Brian Fullerton.
Oh, whatever.
Brian's
dude,
lawn maintenance. No, I.
You're so funny. Dude. That's why like you're my first interview here, because I knew you would just pitch and catch and like have fun with this. But outside of Brian, you're such a dork. Who else were you watching back in the day besides Brian's lawn maintenance? Were you any, like Stanley Dirt Monkey or Keith or?
I definitely watched them, and I was definitely like watching Keith for like his like landscaping and like motivational stuff.
You're so funny.
Yeah.
Brian's lawn maintenance.
Yeah.
What were you trying to learn back in the day, like marketing or lawn care or how tos?
Back then, I wasn't like so into like what am I trying to learn. I think I was just like watching videos, like just
motivation,
taking in content, and I was like, oh wait a minute, that's kind of smart. I'm gonna keep like a mental note of that or whatnot. Like
cool.
Like I didn't have now I'm having a reason. I'm like looking up how to get the best stripes or whatnot like that. Now I have a reason, but back then I was just trying to take in as much info as I could and learn the ropes of lawn care, landscaping, and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. So let me ask you this: one thing that a lot of young kids reach out, and by the way, like that's why we're doing this whole teenager series, this LawnTOURpreneur series that I'm calling it, where we're interviewing 6 more folks over 6 weeks. And by the way, you guys can watch Gabe's YouTube video later tonight when you're listening to the show, because he's got a great setup at 15 years old. It's ridiculous. I don't think I had what you had until I was like 25. And so what was the motivation though to keep going? Because at the beginning you're like, this looks fun, it looks cool. I'm outside, I'm making a couple bucks. But then did you start thinking like, hey, I can make a couple $100 doing this thing. I can make a couple $1,000. Like, was there something you wanted to buy? Like shoes, clothes, food, fireworks, I don't know, go-kart. So, what was the motivation?
So for me, I didn't have the mentality of I'm going to do lawn care to buy something. I was like, I want to make some money. I'm ready to make some money.
Okay.
I want to do something I like. I don't want to be stuck in an office. I mean, now that's 10 years from now, but still, I want to be outside doing work. I don't want to be stuck in an office.
That's fair.
With a corporate job or whatever like that.
That's fair. Well, okay, so let's do this really quick. So now you have the setup with where you're at today. How are you managing school and your maintenance company? Because you got 15 lawns.
Yeah.
You do a lot of like landscaping and irrigation jobs.
Yeah.
How are you able to manage all? I mean, right now it's summertime, right? It's July.
Right.
So you're not in school, right?
No.
Okay. So what do you do April, May though, or September, October?
So what I do then is basically I take my setup and have one of my parents help me. I'm a big shout out to my parents because they help me a lot.
Got to shout out the parents.
Yeah, and so they...
And I know your dad. Your dad's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
He's been really helpful.
Yeah, so they drive me somewhere.
Okay.
To get started, and I'd start off and I'd mow the lawns or whatnot and just getting started.
That's cool. And so when what happens though if you have a rain day? Like, do you mow the lawns during the week, or you mow them on the weekends?
When I have school, I mow them during the weekends. But now in the summer, I like doing them during the week to free up my weekends for like friends and family.
Okay, cool. So what are you doing like every night, like, or every day, like 2 or 3 lawns a day, or?
It depends. So right now I'm actually trying to consolidate them because I lost a couple, and a couple were just picky customers. Not saying that's a bad thing, but like to an extent that decided like, you know, I want to do my own lawn now. And I was like, sure, that's fine.
Yep.
But now I'm just trying to consolidate them into just a couple days.
Okay.
Because I'm at the point sometimes where I was only doing like 2 a day or something. And I was like, this isn't worth it to go out and only mow 2 a day. Let me go and consolidate them into doing
5 a day, 6 a day.
or 5, whatever.
Okay.
Something like that.
That makes sense. Now, how do you, with your route density, are you like in the same subdivisions where you live, or do you have a couple across town, or how are you doing that?
So in Novi, I have most of them within 2 miles.
Okay.
And then sometimes like one of my neighbors I used to mow, they moved, and I used to mow them, and they moved like just a little bit further. And they asked if I could do it, and I was like, you know what, just to keep the customer and stuff. Cool. And it was still during the beginning, I was like, I'll go ahead and go a little bit further for them.
Okay.
But most generally it's in a 2 mile radius, and except for my grandparents' house, I try to take care of them and come out down to Livonia, which is like 15 minutes away from my house.
But you also do a couple of neighbors, I see.
Yeah, I used to have like 5 in here along with my grandparents. So I used to make like a day out of it and stuff. But I just don't do any like snow or anything here. Okay. But I'll do landscaping jobs that are higher ticket price usually.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Dude, it's so awesome hearing how you talk and how you think at 15 years old. And you got a great future ahead of you. Here's what we're going to do really quick. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about your equipment setup. Because I know a lot of young guys, they want to talk numbers, they want to talk equipment, trimmers, blowers, edgers. You got a great equipment setup going on. Do you want to do the transition really quick to the commercial? Because you were making fun of Paul Jameson before we hit record. Yeah. What's our go-to here?
Time to get a sip of water.
You got to get a sip of water. So you actually, what do you got here? You're rocking the Ice Mountain, all right? And
I like Essentia.
You like Essentia?
Yeah.
Are you on you drink the Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
The Essentia Kool-Aid? Well, Paul's got the value pack.
The Pellegrino?
He's got, I think he ran out of the Pellegrino.
Oh, no.
Yeah, apparently if you send somebody $600-700 worth of water, it only lasts a year or so. Oh. So I think he might be re-up, but I don't know. We need to
got to send him some more.
Well, you can send him some more.
Let's go halfsies on it.
You want to go halfsies?
Yeah.
Send him another couple of pallets? Yeah. Paul, we got the young guys trolling you here on the podcast, which is hilarious. Well, let's do this really quick. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to come right on back.
Test before you invest in the latest mowers, blowers, chainsaws, battery equipment, and UTVs. Join us at Equip Exposition in Louisville, Kentucky this October.
Hey guys, it's Brian, and I got to tell you what, I just got done talking to the folks at Equip Expo, and they cannot wait to see you guys down in Louisville, Kentucky later this fall, October 18th to the 21st for Equip Expo. The Equip team wants to let everyone know to achieve their next breakthrough with the right mix of help and hard work. Equip Expo, formerly the GI Plus Expo, will feature 7 educational tracks and 25 plus classes, such as topics in sales and profitability, technology hardscaping, and their newly added pool and spa track. Plus, yours truly will be hosting an event on Thursday afternoon called Energize with Mike Andes, Blake Albertson, and Paul Jameson. If you guys want to join us at Equip, consider using our discount code to register for the show, where you can save 50% off with promo code Brian.
Register before the early sign-up discount ends by visiting equipexposition.com. LawnTOURpreneurs, you know the success of your business depends on your lawn care equipment. If it's not working, neither are you. Keep your mowers, blowers, and all of your other outdoor power equipment running smoothly on the power of the American-made Stable brand. Stable makes premium additives and performance chemicals that help you get the best out of your equipment so that you can return quality work to your growing list of customers. Products like 360 Protection will clean your mower's fuel system with one treatment, and Fast Fix will correct rough-running engines when you're in a pinch. The entire product line undergoes thorough testing, and they are backed by OEMs because they work together to develop industry-leading solutions. Head to stable.com, sta-bil.com, and use the code BRYANS20 to get 20% off and free shipping for your next order. Because at Stable, there's no off-season. Not as long as there's money to be made in the lawn care game.
All right, guys. Well, we are back. And again, want to just say a huge thank you to the tour sponsors, Stable, Equip, and Echo. More on those guys as we continue. Real quick, before we hit the commercial break, and while we were talking and getting a sip of water, you were saying you have been listening to the podcast for a little while now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. How many episodes do you think you've been listening to?
I started at 1 and then went to like 130 maybe.
Okay.
And then I was like, these are good, but I want to see some of the newer content, what's coming out. So I was like, I'll just skip to 300.
So you fast forwarded to the end?
Yeah.
Now you're listening backwards, kind of?
No, I'm just going from 300.
300
when
up?
I have time, I'll go back and.
Well, episode like 257 was amazing. Did you remember the title? No, neither do I. So I'm just kidding. We've done like 350 podcasts. Paul Jameson's done like 750 shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean that's
he puts in the work for it.
He does, man. He's crushing it. But you know what? He does like his batching of his podcast. He'll do like 4 or 5 in a day, and then he'll go to the pool for the rest of the week. That's how he does it, man. He's living the dream.
With Pellegrino?
With his Pellegrino on the side.
Oh wait, he doesn't have any more. That's right. He doesn't have any more.
Yeah, he's got the value pack now, the 12 for 12. But it's okay because somebody brings him like little cheese cubes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So he's able to like just have like the servers, you know.
Yeah.
That's how Paul lives the dream. By the way, your grandparents here have this really cool, what is it, like a
swim spa?
Swim spa.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them about it because these
Yeah.
things are awesome.
Yeah.
Like the Michael Phelps ones are like, this isn't a Michael Phelps one, but it's got the speakers and the jets and the spa and the seating. Anyway, these things are really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about equipment because
Sure.
that's something that I know you are excited about. You've been upgrading.
Yeah.
Before we go down that rabbit hole, talk to me about your mindset about how you have the setup that you have today. Because most guys that are 25, 30 years old don't even have what you have yet. And there's 10, 20 grand worth of equipment sitting out there. So how did you get to where you're at today?
I think I just like buying like the best equipment that you can afford. I know like Caleb Baldwin always says that too.
Yeah.
The figure out what you can afford, get the best equipment.
Yep.
Like for me, I got a backpack blower. I got a 7500. Part of the reason was because I got it like a year ago and I was smaller and couldn't necessarily carry it around.
Sure.
But I mean, now into the fall, I'll be looking at a little bit of a bigger blower, maybe an 8560.
So let's go through the whole lineup. What do you got out there right now in the front?
So let's see. I got a carry-on 5x8 trailer.
Okay.
I run Greton racks. I got the trimmer rack, blower rack, and tool rack.
Yep.
I run a Redmax 7500.
Okay.
Steel FS94R for the trimmer.
Okay.
A Redmax HEZ 3060 for the edger.
Yep.
Which I already kind of told you. You should get one if you don't have one.
Is the 2360 replaced the 2460?
It's the 3060.
So is that a bigger?
It's the biggest one. It's the biggest one they make. So
I need to replace mine because mine's like 5 or 6 years old.
yeah,
It's hanging out by a thread.
This one like rips through anything. Like
Really?
like if you have overgrown stuff, it's gone.
How much was that one? Like 400? Probably.
500.
500 bucks a month? I was gonna say.
I'm not sure. It was a little bit ago that I got it. It was a year ago, so I'm not 100% sure. But
Yeah.
it probably went up a little bit more now.
No, those things are awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get the 7500 Red Max.
7500 Red Max.
And then talk to me. What are you Team X Mark or is that just where you're at right now?
No, so yeah, I like X Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at maybe getting a radius right at the beginning there.
Mm-hmm.
But now I ended up going with the Quest and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just in my budget, I guess.
Is that a 52?
42.
42.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you like that mower so far?
It's pretty good because I like the size. I mean, it's not commercial; it's a residential grade, but
Okay.
it'll get you. It gets me by for what I need. I have about like 80, 70 hours on it right now.
Oh wow.
So, but basically, like for example, like yards, like the neighbor right there.
Yep.
I guess they can't see, but
Yeah.
I guess the neighbor over there. Like I just fit them in some of the gates. There's only 2 gates in the sub that I've mowed that can't fit that mower in.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of nice. Like so now when I'm ready to upgrade, once I get a truck, then a bigger trailer, then a bigger mower. I'll be still keeping that on along with the 30-inch.
Yep.
And then I'll be able to get that 0 turn into some backyards, the 30-inch into all the backyards if I need to, and then that 60-inch into the front yards.
Well, and if you ever want to sell that thing, you can sell it and roll it into a 30, 32, 36.
Yeah.
So then you have a 36 and a 60.
Yeah.
That could always work too.
Yeah.
So it's a 42, 2 blades on that thing that are
2 blades, yep.
Okay, cool. And then where'd you pick that up at Winegard's?
Winegard's, yep. And actually, I've had really luck with my equipment at Winegard's. So basically, I was talking with Tom when I was like looking at mowers, and I was like, I'm interested in looking at new mowers now.
Okay.
And he was like, well, there's the Exmark Quest that someone that wants it right now, but they might back out.
Okay.
So I ended up getting it. Like I was gonna go with a Gravely, and I mean, Gravely isn't bad, but up here it's not. You don't see it too often at all.
No, not so much. I think the Exmarks, maybe
Toros.
I've
seen some Skags.
A couple Skags around here.
Yeah.
I see a lot of. Is it Simplicity?
I haven't seen any Simplicity, but I've heard, yeah.
There's a couple Simplicities over by my house, but mostly Exmark and Toro.
Yeah.
What mower are you thinking from here? Are you looking to upgrade eventually or soon?
Eventually, I'm gonna want probably a Toro Grandstand or a Multi-Force.
Why is that?
Just because I like the endless possibilities, like leaf cleanups.
Yeah.
Like people put like leaf plows on them.
Yep.
And I think your asset isn't sitting around in your garage. You're actually making money with it. While your mower's just sitting in the garage during the winter, you're having a moving asset, and you're having more like your return on investment, I guess.
Well, who taught you about assets and liabilities and making money? What does that mean? That's awesome, man. So do you want to get into the snow game a little bit?
Yeah. Right now I do snow.
Okay.
I basically attach a wheelchair rack to the back of the car.
Yep.
And I have a little Snowmaster 821 or something, like Q something, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like the 820 something.
Is that the single stage but like the bigger inlet?
It's like it looks like a double stage, but it's a single stage, and that thing's a butt kicker.
Those things are awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't used one. Can you talk about it for a minute? Like what do you like, don't like?
So I do like how it's the paddles right in the middle.
Yep.
And there's only one paddle. The outside's metal.
Okay.
So and then there's obviously like the 2.
Okay.
But basically it grinds up that snow.
Yep.
And shoots it like 50 feet for only being a single stage.
Those things are awesome.
Maybe 40 feet, but
I know which ones you're talking about. Those things are awesome because I have the 821s and the 721s, the single stage.
Yeah.
And they're good until about 7 or 8 inches of snow.
Oh yeah. I've basically like, you know how driveways they get that you get that like slush and whatever.
Yep.
I had one time where it was going over on top of the snow blower, and it was still digging through it though.
Wow. No kid. And then what do you charge for a driveway?
I was doing like 35, 40 around. And then some of the bigger ones I was maybe charging 50. But I've been able to knock out like 15 in a day and make like $500 from it.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
In the snow?
Yeah.
And then do you do the snow like when you get out of school, or is normally school canceled that day?
I don't know. So that's the thing. Like I've gotten really lucky last year because I didn't have school the days that we got snow.
Okay.
And now I did a couple, but then I got like a really bright headlamp, and I would go out at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night to knock them out.
Yeah.
So I made it work, but
I'd watch your Instagram stories and see you guys shuttling around.
Yeah.
Last year it snowed every Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, that's when I don't know. Maybe you're like we didn't have school because.
Oh, I think it was on weekends a lot too.
It was snowing every weekend last year.
Yeah.
Literally, because I remember like texting the guys. I'm like, hey, dude, time to gear up, and it's always Sunday. Yeah. Sunday at 4 p.m. and we'd be out till Monday at 3 or 4 a.m. You got to get a sip of water.
No, I'm good. I just.
You're going for the water. You're like, I don't want to mess this up. It's just funny trolling Paul Jameson. Yeah. Well, I'll put you on the spot. You got a better transition than get a sip of water, because that's all I can come up with on this thing.
Time to move on to our show sponsors.
Yeah. That's what Paul Jameson does. Yeah. But it's never awkward ever on Paul's show, right? Who do you listen to during the day when you're out working, like podcast-wise?
I mean, when I'm mowing, I'm only mowing for a few hours. Okay. So I don't really listen to too many podcasts over. I'd like to, but then, I mean, once I have like my own car, my own truck and stuff, then I'll definitely listen to like podcasts when I'm driving. But right now, I'm limited to only when I'm mowing.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah.
What have you been reading, like any business books or anything like that over the years?
Yeah, I've read some of Paul Jameson's book, Cut the Grass, Make That Cash.
There you go, Paul.
I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, that's a good book to read.
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant. That's the second book in the series.
Yeah.
Those two books changed my life. I read those about 18 or 19 years old. I wish I would have read them at your age.
I was also then I was like reading some real estate books, which were really like, not that I'd get into any, obviously right now, but when I'm older, I definitely want to get into some real estate. And it was just fun, like knowing that knowledge now.
What's the appeal there? What do you think?
I don't know. I just like the idea of. I mean, I guess you still have to do work like maintenance on the property, but then also like the idea of now working on your property that you own for real estate.
Yeah. We actually have a great podcast coming out. Maybe this week or next week. Hang tight if you guys are listening in. There's a gentleman named Andrew. He's 18 years old, and he's in Davenport, I think it was Iowa. And he's 18. He's got 4 or 5 young guys working for him, making some great money. And his goal is to start having some real estate investments and stuff by the time he's 18.
Awesome.
20, 25 years old, and have some rental properties giving him some rental income.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know if I want to go to college. I want to just get into real estate. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not just go right to the end product? And no need. You say no need? Are you pro college or anti college, or you thumbs down?
Yeah.
What do your parents think about that?
They're supportive of what I want to do basically, and they're at the point where they know that like I'm pretty set up pretty well. I feel like but they kind of want me to go to trade school as like a backup kind of.
Okay.
And have that as a trade as a backup instead of maybe having a degree as a backup, which I think that's a little bit better because I could deal with doing that. Yeah.
Because you go to a community college for a year or two, learn a skill.
Right.
Versus spending $70,000 getting a business degree.
Right. Which is what's that going to do for you?
Probably.
I mean, you might learn about it a little bit, but what's different from me now learning all this compared to what's going to college and learning all that?
Hey, you said it, not me. Right? You got to convince your parents, not me. My younger brother, he went to Michigan State, paid $80,000. He's got a business degree, and he does email newsletters and marketing for an RV company, generally speaking. And he's like, I don't do anything. I don't use anything that I learned from college. And I'm not saying that you won't use some stuff from college or enjoy the experience.
Right.
But if your parents want to drop $60,000 and invest in you or help you pay for college, just tell them to give you a $60,000 line of credit and go buy a bunch of equipment.
Yeah.
And then go
make like
go get
$100,000.
Go get a service body truck for your irrigation setup.
Yeah.
And you can I get calls all the time for irrigation work around here because it's a niche service and nobody's doing sprinklers around here.
Once you learn it, it's pretty simple stuff too.
Really?
I mean, I guess it can depend on what exactly you're doing. Like, I'm not gonna touch like the valves and stuff. I'm just replacing like the actual heads and stuff and installing drip irrigation.
Yeah.
And then
That's really cool. Well, let's do this really quick. Let's talk about where do you want to go over the next couple years because you're 15. Where do you see yourself at least going from now to like the high school? Kind of next 3 years when you graduate, 18 years old. Where do you want to go?
So my goal would be pretty much is to get a truck. Maybe by this winter.
Okay.
Just because that opens up so much opportunity for snow to maybe toss like a snowblower in the back, and just because I can haul brush away, that's so much easier to do leaf cleanups than. I got some leaf burritos that sometimes I'd do leaf cleanups. The mower would pulverize it down. I'd dump it into 2 leaf burritos.
Yep.
I'd leave them there, go back home, drop the and then take it to the dump. Which the dump will. Like, normally when I'm doing my leaf cleanups, I'm doing them on the weekends. Okay. But the Spurt Industries dump is closed on the weekends, or at least some of the time. So I have to go like 30 minutes to dump it.
Where do you go around here? Outside of Spurt?
It's like a family dump.
Okay.
And it's like where like all like the big, there's like some bigger garbage or like compost trucks that go there and stuff. It's like Tun Hill Farms or something.
Something like that.
It's like 30 minutes. East.
The Spurt is really cool. Spurt's in my backyard, literally. Right, that's Charms Road. We have that's where our Thursday route is all up and down there. We have like 30 some lawns that we mow up and down on Charms Road, right where that is. Like, talk about convenience.
Right. That's so. And then
And then not only that, like our leaf box holds about 5 yards of leaves, which is about a day's worth of cleanups for us.
Yeah.
So we literally start on that area, which my whole route is like within a mile of that spot.
Yeah.
And so we'll do leaf cleanups for the day. We'll go dump at 4:45, when they close at 5, and then we'll just rinse and repeat. And people are like, oh, you need to get a dump truck and all this other stuff and get 12-yard capacity. And I'm like,
why do that if you're already working what you have? If it's already working for you.
It's working, man. It's making us money, But I don't know. If you pull the internet, sometimes you get opinions of other people, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's got.
Everyone has their own thing that you must do.
Dude, and everybody wants to spend your money, and I'm like, that's always nice.
Yeah.
So you want to continue to get some more clients, do some more landscaping and irrigation work. Where do you want to take the business maybe long term? What are you thinking?
I definitely like to have like maybe 1 or 2 crews for mowing.
Okay.
And then maybe have like me go out to do the quotes for any landscaping jobs in like a service body truck, and then do irrigation quotes and irrigation jobs, and just make a whole day worth of doing like that stuff. I think that'd be pretty fun.
That would be pretty good. And then what do you want to do with the business long term? Do you want to get a shop? Do you want to maybe sell it one day, or who knows?
I haven't really gone like that far.
Yeah.
I just know I want to
start making some money.
Building, yeah.
Keep reinvesting and making some money.
I think it'd be cool to have like a shop somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, in this whole area, Livonia, do you want to stay in this area or maybe branch out other places, or what do you think?
I'll probably stay in Novi, but like now I'm building all my stuff in Novi and not building anything in Livonia.
Okay, cool.
Just to keep more profit.
Yeah. More route density.
More route density, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we'll do this really quick. We'll button the podcast up here, but open mic, man. Anything you want? This is your show. Okay, so like any pearls of wisdom you want to drop, or any last minute pieces of advice, it's all you. I got to say this really quick. Thanks for taking time out of your afternoon.
Absolutely.
Whether you're 15 or 35 or 55, you guys have schedules. I want to be respectful of that, and you guys are jumping on the podcast. I always want to say thank you for contributing and being part of the community and giving back. But this is your show, man. So anything that you want to leave these guys, or any encouraging words to somebody who's in your age group that's trying to get started cutting grass?
Sure. I'd say like save your money as long as possible.
Okay.
Unless you're reinvesting.
Yep.
But I'd say don't spend little. Wait for big ideas, big moves kind of. I mean, I guess that might not be sometimes the best idea, but I'd more say like, don't go out and buy shoes. Go out and buy your new leaf blower. That'll make you more money. Your shoes won't make you any money.
Yeah. Do you like shoes or something? No.
I don't. My shoes are like Nike random shoes. I don't really care. I don't really care about shoes or any clothes.
Do you see a bunch of kids like your age like getting distracted by stuff like that? Like buying stuff.
Yeah, I know people that just use their money for shoes or other stuff, and not really care about saving money and stuff for like a car or whatnot.
Buying a new iPhone instead of reinvesting.
Yeah.
Well, you said assets instead of liabilities.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, you got a bright future ahead of you, man. All right. Well, we'll button this thing up. If you guys did not get a chance to see Gabe's video, check that out on YouTube later.
Tag Team Leaf Cleanup. Look that up, and you'll.
The one that we did.
Yeah.
You did a video on that.
Yeah.
That's the one
that's the one. That's a leaf cleanup, I guess. Yeah, that's the leaf cleanup one that we did a while ago.
Is that the one that we got a little underpriced on?
Yeah, a little bit.
That was a tough day.
That was It was interesting too. The neighbor got a little, or their neighbor.
Oh yeah, dude, he came out.
Their neighbor got a little yappy.
He was yelling at you, and then
Yeah.
and then he started yelling at your dad.
Yeah.
And then your dad was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this isn't my fight.
Yeah.
But I was gonna crush that neighbor. I was like, dude, this kid's 14, dude. Like, piss off. We were doing this huge leaf cleanup, and the whole backyard was woods.
Yeah.
It was in a subdivision, but the whole backyard was woods,
Yeah.
and we didn't have any access to the backyard.
Right. So we had to just cut it and blow. Cut, blow, cut, blow.
It was really tough,
Yeah.
and it was a little windy towards the later afternoon, and some leaves were starting to blow into the neighbor's lawn, which we were going to get anyway.
Right.
And but the neighbor came out and he started.
And then he was like, no, you made my entire yard messy. You go go clean up my yard. He was like,
he wanted us to do a leaf cleanup on his whole backyard.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening.
No.
Well, so that morning, because you asked if I wanted to come help you do a leaf cleanup, and I was like, yeah, dude, sure, because I brought my equipment, and we were using your equipment and my equipment. It was just a fun time.
Yeah.
And but dude, that got out of hand at the end.
Yeah.
Dude, because that neighbor was like getting really. he was crazy, dude. And
then the homeowner went to talk with him.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, and then and the funny part was he was like, and the homeowner went out with a little Pool and Pro.
Yeah,
whatever those things are,
yeah.
like blowing off his porch and stuff. And he was like, I can do it with my backpack blower, but it'll take forever.
Yeah, your customer was cool.
Yeah.
The neighbor to your customer was being a butt, and but that's tough. Sometimes you deal with that crap when you're younger, and I was like, I was ready to rock and roll that dude for you, and I was like, and then your dad came in, thank God, and your dad was like, telling the other neighbor to, like, go away.
Yeah.
And but dude, he wanted to get you to do a whole leaf cleanup on his back property.
$250 and I'll do it. $300, $400. Be my guest. I'll do your backyard.
That's the truth right there, man. That's awesome. That was a fun learning experience for sure. And we shot. So that video was on. You have a YouTube channel?
Oh, that was on yours.
Was that on mine?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I title it?
Tag Team Leaf Cleanup.
Tag Team Leaf Cleanup?
It'll be like the first one.
Okay. And then, because we actually showed your leaf
My
cleanup.
setup, yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was, November?
December.
We did that in December?
We did it December, 2nd or something.
Is that right?
It was, yeah.
Wow. Were you still doing leaf cleanups?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I was doing leaf cleanups till there was snow on the ground.
Well, I think last year we were doing them to maybe mid-December because we got some snow in November and then we got screwed and we couldn't do them till December.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Every fall up here is different. Sometimes we get them all done by Thanksgiving. Other times we're getting them done by Christmas.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
There's definitely been times where you're pushing Christmas time for leaf cleanup.
Yeah, anything after Thanksgiving is always extra credit for us. But I remember, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, we were doing leaf cleanups Christmas week. Which is really strange for us.
Yeah.
But it was 40 degrees. And for us,
sometimes it's been really nice on Christmas.
Hey man, like you said, go make $300 in an hour or two, and I mean, why not? That's good money.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll button this thing up. Go check out YouTube tonight if you guys can, and do me a big favor. Drop a line, drop a comment saying, encouraging Gabe. Say dude, awesome job or great setup, and listen to your podcast this morning because you got it going on, bud. And I'm really, really excited for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep hustling, and we got some stuff that we got to go finish filming over here in a minute. But that's what we got. So where can people find you really quick on social?
Gabe's Lawn Care on Instagram.
Okay.
And then I have a YouTube channel, Gabe's Lawn Care LLC.
Okay.
Which is, I don't post too much there. Maybe I'll start posting more on there. And then I have Gabe's Lawn Care on Facebook too. All
right, cool. And then you want to give your parents a quick shout out at the end here?
Yeah. Thank you for my parents for everything they do and taking me everywhere and dealing with my stuff in the garage. I get half the garage and it's just filled with
lawn care stuff.
Gas aerators and mowers.
Well, they're playing the long game because one day they're hoping that you're going to buy them like a Mercedes, you know? Something like that, right? All right, well, cool deal, guys. Well, we'll button it up right here. We'll kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in the ATL. And guys, thanks for listening in, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
When pros are knee-deep in tough fall cleanups, they reach for the world's most powerful backpack blower. The Echo PB 9010 is a workhorse made of wind. A 220-mile-per-hour sidearm that powers through piles of wet leaves with ease. So when the clock's ticking and winter's on its way, the PB 9010 gives you the power to clear more job sites in less time. Because there's power, and then there's Echo Power. Echo. Power on. And on.
Purchase the whole ball of wax now through the end of August and receive one free LAL 2022 admission, a $197 value. When you buy the whole ball of wax, you will automatically be registered for the event. No additional steps required. LawnTOURpreneur Academy Live is the event to take your company to new heights as you learn from industry leaders at this amazing one-day event. Act now. This free ticket offer to LAL 2022 and purchasing the whole ball of wax won't last forever. Go all in today and secure your seat for the industry's best in-person training conference in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 12th. The whole ball of wax includes all the training programs, documents, resources, and postcard designs at the LawnTOURpreneur.com and the ticket to LAL 2022. This deal ends August 31st, so don't delay. Tickets to the event can be purchased separately from the whole ball of wax promotion.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.